The Queen has finally spoken. Hey everyone, welcome to ET Live's The Download. After 48 hours since Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's bombshell interview, Buckingham Palace released a statement on Her Majesty's behalf Tuesday morning, saying that the whole family is saddened to learn, quote, the full extent of how challenging the last few years have been for Meghan and Harry.
That's right. The statement also addresses Meghan and Harry's claims about racism, saying, quote, the issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some regulations may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. The statement is seemingly addressing Harry and Meghan's assertions that someone in the royal family raised concerns about the color of their son, Archie's skin. Oprah clarified on behalf of Harry that the concerns were not raised by the Queen or Prince Philip during her Monday appearance on CBS this morning.
Meanwhile, royal expert Katie Nichol tells us that the palace has gone into full lockdown mode, as you can imagine, following the interview. Let's take a listen.
I think crisis meetings have been going on ever since the programme aired in the United States. So the talk at the palace is that they are absolutely horrified by what has been said. They feel that Harry has literally thrown the family under a bus. The allegations came thick and fast, and I think they took everyone by surprise.
Obviously, this is causing a lot of stir and a lot of reaction from both sides of the pond, but we are now hearing how Brits are reacting. You guys will know that, even though it aired in the US on Sunday, it aired in the UK. They didn't get a chance to watch it until Monday night. But, we're learning that from Katie Nichol that the country is actually in an uproar.
Some saw it as so offensive to the Queen that they actually turned off after the first hour. And that may also have been because it was screened quite late in the UK. But we know that this has created a real backlash over here. The papers today are full of commentary, articles, commentators basically saying this is Harry detonating his family.
Wow.
Obviously, there are a lot of opinions about Meghan, Harry, the royal family, and this sit down interview. I anticipated that we would hear from the palace. I felt like there was no way they could ignore the allegations, the
Right.
information that we learned about through that sit down with Oprah. But I also imagine that this would indeed cause an uproar. And no matter what you believe, I feel like, and I've talked to some friends who are in the UK, more than anything, people are just shook, and like we all are,
Yeah.
based on what we learned from Meghan
Well,
and,
I'm
and Harry's interview.
Yeah, and I feel like this is just a continuation of 2020. 2020, our eyes were open to a lot of things, and we're
Hmm.
just living in a time where veils are being pulled back from institutions that the world has idolized, and the masses are really seeing them for what they truly are. I mean, that happened here with Donald Trump's presidency when it comes to racism. Things we
Absolutely.
knew that kind of existed are kind of being just brought front and center. And I believe Megan. Everyone doesn't have to believe Megan, of course, but if those things she said are true, it's clear that the institution has some work to do when it comes to morals and ethics. They just have,
Right.
some things underlying that they should fix.
I also feel like the Queen's statement, I'm glad they addressed what's going on, first of all. Second of all, I'm glad that
Hmm.
they felt saddened by, the things that Meghan was dealing with, especially when it came to race. And I'm glad they acknowledged that in the statement. But where I feel like they went wrong was when she said, there are different retellings of what actually happened. If she would have just left that out, I would have felt like this was more genuine. And in fact, I felt what it lacked was the same amount of passion that from the statement that the institution
Yeah.
put out following those bullying allegations against Meghan,
They're
and
protecting the
Katie.
crown though too at the same
Exactly.
time.
For sure. And you know what? I think that, like you mentioned, it's a reflection of that culture. And it's something that
Yeah.
Katie Nichol also told us. She says, according to polls, the Brits are going to back the monarchy. Whereas here in America, the
Right.
majority of people are on Team Sussex. And I think we're starting to see that play out now. But meanwhile, Harry's dad, Prince Charles, was back to business as usual. He was actually the first royal to make an official appearance following the interview, visiting a vaccination center in London on Tuesday, where a reporter asked him for his thoughts on his son's sit down with Oprah. Now, as for his reaction, we'll let you watch for yourself.
Sir, can I ask what did you think of the interview?
I
Right.
mean, man, a few words. Right. Do we expect
Yes.
anything less than that?
Yeah, I mean, he kept calm and carried on. That's
Right.
exactly what he did. And I mean, that's also somewhat expected, right?
Hmm.
Not to speak right now. But when it comes to Meghan's side of the family, her half sister, Samantha Markle, spoke out during an interview with Inside Edition, denying Meghan's claims that they don't know each other in this bonus clip for her sit down with Oprah. Let's take a listen.
What is your relationship with her?
I don't feel comfortable talking about people that I really don't know. I grew up as an only child, which everyone who grew up around me knows. And I wished I had siblings. The last time I saw her must have been at least 18, 19 years ago. And before that, 10 years before that, she changed her last name back to Markle in, I think she was in her early 50s at that time, only when I started dating Harry. So I think that says enough.
You know,
Mind blowing.
right? I mean, that's pretty shocking information. But, Samantha denied two specific claims. One, that they hadn't seen each other in 18, 19 years. She says it was less than that. And
Yeah.
also, she also claims that she changed her last name back to Markle back in the 90s. Either way, that's just technicalities. I feel like,
Yeah.
even if you did see each other as recent as 2 months ago, you can tell that there is a strained relationship, and I think it's
Yes.
different. You know what I mean? I don't think time defines how well you know someone in your life. So
Right, and
I
Megan's
believe in.
father. Right,
Right.
Megan's father, Thomas Markle. He also responded to the couple's sit down with Oprah with his interview on Good Morning Britain Tuesday morning. And it speaks to what you said, Denny. He said that he's been speaking to the press because Meghan has not reached out to him. But it's like
Right.
that's just such a weird way to go about it. And it speaks truth to what your relationship really is like.
Absolutely. And speaking of Good Morning Britain, we got to get to this other craziness because that show continues to make headlines as host Piers Morgan has decided to leave the show following the news about him storming off the set after he received criticism about his tirade against Meghan Markle and Prince Harry on air. In a statement, the network ITV said, quote, "Following discussions with ITV, Piers Morgan has decided now is the time to leave Good Morning Britain. ITV has accepted this decision and has nothing further to add." Now, his decision again comes after he literally stormed off the GMB set Tuesday morning as his co-presenter Alex Beresford called him out about his constant criticism of Meghan. Take a look.
And I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this programme. A number of times. And I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle or had one, and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off if she wants to. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
OK, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
So, do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe not my
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't
This
do
is
this.
Wow. Such a telling moment, right? Such a
Yeah.
wild moment to witness. But Beresford continued after he left, after Piers left, saying that Piers spouts off on a regular basis, and we all have to sit there and listen. 6:30 to 7 o'clock yesterday was incredibly hard to watch. That's what he said. And
Hmm.
just for some context here, reportedly the network received over 41,000 complaints after Piers made that statement, those statements about Meghan Markle
Hmm.
and the interview. And
Yeah.
also, just for some context, in December of 2018, Piers wrote a column in the Daily Mail saying that he was ghosted by Meghan Markle. There's obviously some bad blood here.
Right.
So allegedly, Piers and Meghan went out for drinks or they were friends. And then Meghan met Harry the following day and stopped talking to Piers. So there's some speculation that that's really what's underlying all of this hate he sends Meghan's way.
I mean, one thing we know for sure is over the years, Pierce has had a lot to say about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. There's no doubts about that. And as recent as, this interview with Oprah, he said on Monday's Good Morning Britain, "I'm sorry, I don't believe a word she says." He says, "I wouldn't believe her if she read me a weather report." And this comes after that clip of Meghan discussing her issues with mental health and suicidal thoughts.
Mhm.
I think obviously his comments were completely insensitive, but it totally also disregards what she is speaking as her truth,
Right.
And And so that's why I'm glad that his colleague called him out. What is disappointing but also not surprising is Pierce's reaction. Like, what a cowardly move to walk off. If you're going,
Yeah.
you need to be held accountable. If you're gonna say these things, you got to back them up. And everyone on that panel on that show was just sharing their opinion, but for him to completely dismiss it and walk away says a lot about Pierce. And so,
Right.
like we said, the fallout continues now as he will not be returning to the show.
Yeah, and people see what they want to see. They're going to believe what they want to believe. If you go into this thinking that Meghan is a villain, you're going to look for evidence to support what you believe. And if you
Right.
don't find that, that's when you start calling her a liar. So I think people should just look within themselves and find that they might have trust issues that has nothing to do with Meghan. Because why would she
Speak up.
lie about something like this?
Absolutely.